Alright everybody, this is my Path of Exile 2 character for the Abyssal League. Now the main idea here is just stacking as much mana as possible, turning that mana into damage and defenses. And I wouldn't call this an early game build, it's probably a late game build most likely. And the reason being is you don't really scale until you get lots and lots of mana. And that doesn't come until later in the game. So be warned, if you try to level this way, it's not fun. I promise you that right now. I would level to something else and then switch over to this. But the main reason how we get damage and defenses from our mana, if we open up our passives tree here, is by becoming a mercenary Gemling Legionaire. And the reason why we do that is basically for this node right here, and it gives us double the attributes stats from our attributes, which is really good because we get a ton of intelligence, but we also get 20% less attributes, which we're not too worried about because the amount of mana that we get from this node is pretty insane, and that helps us with our damage. The other thing that we do is go around and just basically get a bunch of jewels, because jewels are really good for the build. You get like curse AoE on them, you get spell damage, area effect, curse activation speed, mana regen. You can abyssal craft percent intelligence on them. They're really, really good. You can even get the unique jewel that can double their effectiveness when they're just a corrupted magic jewel, which can turn into some pretty crazy AoE if you go that route, if you want it. Or just more damage, whatever you're into, you know. But the other thing we want to do is path all the way up to the north, though, grabbing all the jewels along the way. And the reason why we come up here is so that we can get all the juicy mana nodes. And probably the most important one would be this one here that gives us spell damage per 100 mana. And that can be, as you can see, if we have 9,500 mana, that's quite a lot of mana, or spell power. The other things we need to get are Eldritch Battery, because it converts Energy Shield to mana. And the other thing we do is grab Mind Over Matter, which means all damage that we take it from our mana before our life. But we have so much mana that it doesn't really matter. And our mana regen, and we're going to get these nodes here for mana on kill as well, because they're really, really good. I probably should have grabbed those earlier. Those are really important. The other most important ones are these mana efficiency ones. Because of Archmage and our curses, because we want to level them up, everything costs a lot of mana. So like our curse here is 546, and this one's 546. So these mana cost efficiency nodes are really effective at making sure that we can sustain ourselves and our health pool, because even if we regen to cover our mana costs, if we take any damage, we're not going to be able to survive. So we need lots of mana regen in that department. Now for skills, the main things we want to do is get discipline through our scepter here, and that just gives us more mana because we convert our ES to mana. Sigil power for some extra AoE or spell power as we're fighting bosses or hard rares or something like that. Our main skills are Despair. We support it with, like I say, Impending Doom. That's our main thing here. It converts 15% of our current mana to chaos damage, which is a lot when you have 9,500. And then we have our supported skills have 40% less cost, again just to help us sustain ourselves. Zenith, we recoup some of that mana back, and we're usually above 90% max mana unless we're in like a really tough map, in which case we just wait till we are and we can start casting again. So you always want to keep your mana high. So this helps with damage and with sustain. The penetration, just to try to help our damage out a little bit. Ideally you'd replace this with the new Abyssal gem that I think it's new, but it's the gem that inverts monster resistances. That would be your best in slot for that, but it's super expensive. And then here we got a little bit of extra cast speed, just for some quality of life. You could really do whatever you want here, but I found this to be the most effective. I tried it with Arcane Surge, but I couldn't really sustain it that often because I do reduce the cost of my mana supply a lot. You're not really casting too fast, you're just hitting really hard. Frostbomb just supports us with exposure, and what we do there is we just increase the detonation time just so it lasts longer, recovery rate, increase exposure effect. Again, it's just helping us negate some of those high resist monsters. Contagion, we don't really use it too much. It doesn't help us with freezing anything, even though I have chaotic freeze in here. But the main reason is for this reduced life regeneration rate if we have a really tough rare or something, or like a soul leader rare with life regen. Sometimes they can get kind of hard to kill, so this can help you out. I have this tame beast in here because I think it might be worth it if I can get a beast that has the haste aura and energy shield aura. I would lose pretty much all of my skeletal clerics though if I did that. I think I get to keep one. I know I can get some more spirit on like my amulet if I wanted though. And maybe I could run like another one after that, because the extra ES that aura would give you is like another 250, 300 mana, which is another 12% lightning damage gained and another 9% spell power. So that's quite nice. Plus you get the haste, which makes you just run and move around faster, which is always a good thing. Now the reason why we use skeletal clerics is so that we have this essence harvest here, so whenever they die, we get 8% of our maximum mana back, and that just again helps us with our sustain. And actually, it's quite powerful. You really notice them when they're not around, because 8% of 9,000 is again 720 mana. We're Gucci. And then the other thing we do with them though is because we have so many, they heal each other so often. Sometimes it's hard for them to die, so we put their Infernal Legion on here just so that they burn their health over time. It kind of negates some of the healing that they do, so any damage that they do take is sticks, and then eventually they do die, and then they can res each other and all that jazz. So it's almost like an infinite mana glitch. Not quite, but maybe with more it'd be even better. The other thing we do is just mana remnants. You probably get away with not using this at some point, especially with much better gear. My gear is not that great. I'll go over my gear later in just a sec here. But this would help us sustain our mana. We put remnants on it just so we have the increased effect. We don't really care about the increased delay because we have so much mana to play with to begin with. We just want that increased effect. And then, yeah, just additional remnants, more mana. Now this one, Archmage, this is like the whole core of the build, is using this to get as much increased lightning damage as possible. And like I said, my goal starting this was 10k mana. I think I could probably get to 11k with some of these pieces of gear that I've seen some guys on PoE Ninja have, but we're just going to try for 10k for now. I don't really play as much as probably those guys, but we use Archmage here just for that damage increase, but it makes us have a really high mana cost because 63% of our maximum mana is an additional cost for our spells. Since our mana is so high, that's quite a lot. But with that mana efficiency and the support gem that things cost 40% less, it's not unsustainable. So that's what's going on there. That's pretty much it. I've been kind of playing around with, different combination of things, trying to figure things out. This is what I usually fall back to. But I'll keep playing around, see how I can make it a little better. Maybe you guys have a suggestion for me too on how to make it better. As far as in terms of my gear, yeah, we're looking for basically just ES, intelligence, extra mana, mana regen, all that good stuff. So this is why my scepter here has it. You could put a wand in your main hand and use your scepter in your offhand too. I think it does work out the more damage in general, but I was just going for the highest mana as I could get, and this is the way to do it. So that's why we're doing it this way, just for fun. This is the helmet here. You want to put the maximum mana in it, jewels, because they're really powerful for us. Ideally, you'd have a 3 socket here. But again, you're just looking for mana, int, ES, resistances, all the usual stuff. You'd probably want to get movement speed on your boots, unlike me. Especially with like the 100% increased effective sockets, you can do some pretty nutty things. You could even get just even more mana in that regards. Yeah, my chest isn't something too great. Just ES, int, and fire resist here. Our belt, we would ideally want to use the Abyssal belt. That gives us it treating as sockets as a helm. Then you can put more % mana in it, but for now we're just going to use life, mana, and resistances for now. The life's kind of nice because it helps you with your stun resistance. One of the downsides to this build is that you do get stunned a lot, which is why we use the stunning charm as well. And then, yeah, same thing for your gloves. And there's some pretty cool abyssal crafts that you can do as well. Especially for like your chest, you can get 20% mana recoup, which is really powerful. We even put that on our amulet here with our anointment. That's how we get our mana regen. I was using the 50% damage taken recouped as mana unique belt before. That was really nice to sustain yourself leveling up and getting through the game. But again, I wouldn't recommend leveling as this build. This is an end-day build. And yeah, it's been pretty fun so far. I'll show you guys. Oh, I have to show you my rings. I'm using the Dream Fragments Sapphire Ring for 23 cold res, 57 mana regen, and 12% max mana. Now, I've seen some people with 14% increased max mana, but I'm not really sure how you do that. I've tried qualifying up 2 of these now, and they both hit 12, so I don't know how people are getting to 14. If somebody could tell me that, that'd be great. And the other one's just a breach ring with more max mana, percent max mana, int resistances. Really nice. And other things you could look for maybe is the Abyssal Craft for more intellect, or like the hybrid in strength, in dex rolls, cast speed, things like that. You could even do lightning damage, percent lightning damage, like that would be really good too. But that's the basic idea behind the build. And yeah, I'll just show you what it looks like. I guess, yeah, this is right here. I'll just open it quick. So you can see we use lots of AoE. Oh, I can't hit that, it's behind the wall. Oh, I'm not gonna hit pretty hard. But as you can see, our mana just regens right back away. Alright, well that was a little bit of a rough start. Let's show you guys now. I guess this is a delirium, so because it is a little tougher. As a monster level 80 map, by the way. That's it. You just swap your curses back and forth. Drop your frost bomb just to help kill things a little bit better. If you take a lot of damage like that, you might want to wait a little bit because it's based off of current mana, not maximum mana your damage hit. So maybe kill one more rare for you guys. Now, in terms of rares, like what you want to look out for, though, is the siphoning mana rare. That guy's pretty hard to deal with sometimes, especially if they get doubled up. That's really the only thing that's kind of scary, to be honest. The other downside to this build is probably your single target. Like, it's really good at clearing. I'm working on trying to figure out maybe a way to increase my single target. I was thinking maybe putting shock magnitude on some of my jewels, you know, some extra elemental damage or crit chance as well. Try to scale it with crit. Anyway, yeah, that's it.